What's up, WLMA? So in this video, I'm gonna be teaching you my favorite invisible Instagram funnel. And it's called the invisible Instagram funnel because it's a funnel where the prospect doesn't feel like they're in a marketing funnel, which helps conversions a lot. So a couple weeks ago, Manny and we recorded this video and we did it in kind of a podcast format where I get to answer a lot of questions that I know some of you will have as well. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down the invisible Instagram funnel from a high level bird's eye view. We'll talk on ad ideas, lead magnet and offer ideas, best type of ad creatives for Instagram. And then I'm going to screen share the actual step-by-step setup of an Instagram funnel ad, particularly messaging ads. You're going to be learning DMing scripts as well. So when you get inquiries or when you get leads from these ads, you have an entire script you can follow. And make sure that you're focused and you're taking notes. This should have been like a 2-hour video, but we turned it into 30 minutes. We'll go more in depth when we launch WLMA 3.0, but I wanted to make a brief video now so some of you can get started on this now and profit from this now. And because this is just a short video, in the comments there will be more resources that Crystal made as far as nurturing leads and ad creative inspiration, since we won't be going too in depth on that in this video. So don't miss those extra resources in the comments or description, wherever we decide to put them. Anyways, let's get started. So I'll kind of break through an entire like Instagram messaging funnel that you can actually play around with pretty much. Whether if it's like using this photo, whether if you make video reels, whether if you make carousel posts, whether if you actually change that lead magnet.
Okay.
So maybe it's not even, you could do that model call, to win a free engagement session, or it could even be for like a paid or full engagement session. It could be for a posing guide.
Okay.
For retargeting, it could be an actual ad for your core offer to book weddings.
Okay.
But I'm gonna show you how we can actually build that like entire funnel and possibly make this like as a messaging ad.
Okay.
So pretty much what I like to do, especially like organically, I'll often turn pictures, carousels, reels that did really well organically, and I made them turn them into an ad. Okay. If it was just a great value post or something that did really well, I may just change the call to action, actually turn that into an ad. If it's an actual something that I plan to do as an ad, maybe that is like a model call contest, or if it's an ad for an engagement session, I may test it organically. Carousels do really well right now. Reels do very well. Sometimes it could just be like that photo that you do. You use that photo and then there's like info that kind of goes through as like a carousel explaining maybe how the model call contest works, using that same principles of the copy that you used, but doing that like in a carousel format. So maybe there's like words that are happening here. Or maybe it could be like that photo. There's like a headline of winning this contest, and then you swipe it and there's a reel of you like explaining it a little bit more. All these concepts work. Like in the course we explain doing it like a certain couple ways, but you can get really creative. Like if you're making it for Instagram, you can pretty much follow what people like to view on Instagram.
Right.
Use the same creative for that type of platform.
Right.
But let's say
our goal is to get capital, right? So, and the fastest way to do that is for a free engagement session.
Yeah. And so it doesn't necessarily have to, depending on what your strategy is. So let's say that if you're finding that these contests where people can win an engagement session is working with a lot of leads, you can run an ad for that. But let's say as an example, messaging ads actually do really, really well.
Okay.
Let's say, for example, you want to run a model call contest or run an ad for like fall minis or something, and you want to do it as a messaging ad. So this is your ad account, correct?
Correct.
So we'd click over on create. We'd go over on engagement.
Okay. So not leads and not traffic.
Yeah. So you wouldn't go on traffic or leads. You'd go engagement because it's good for Messenger and Instagram and everything like that.
Okay. So
I'm going to click on continue, manual engagement campaign. And let's say this one is fall. I'm just going to say it's like fall minis or something like that.
Okay, sure.
Like $97 fall minis ad.
Okay. Let's try it because we've done free engagement session that's running on Facebook right now.
Yeah.
So let's do $97 fall minis.
Exactly.
And it's not $100. 97 sounds better.
Yeah, 100%.
The
And so,
odd number.
exactly.
Okay.
And so usually that's something that it's a little psychological thing.
Okay.
But pretty much, let's say it's $97 font minis. I'm going to keep campaign budget optimization off. If that was on, that would pretty much, the algorithm would have the ad set. It would run it to whatever ad set is doing the best. We don't need to do it for this.
Because there's only one ad set that we're using.
There's only be one ad set.
We're not split testing it because I know that like this photo did well on here.
Exactly.
So there's something about it.
So pretty much, let me make sure this is all correct. Messaging ads. If you have the capacity to have these messaging ads go on both Facebook and Instagram, handle those messages between those. I now have an appointment setter who will handle a lot of my messages. But let's say you just wanted to run this like on Instagram.
Yeah.
Especially because maybe it's a carousel post and you know that this is set, particularly for Instagram as far as the style of creative. Maximize number of conversations. Let's say you want to do this like $10 a day.
Okay.
Start date. So let's say this is my favorite audience to use when it comes to targeting newly engaged couples. Keep it age
That's about what we have.
broad-ish to what
40.
you'll actually work with.
That's exactly what we use. 21
Awesome.
to 40, yeah.
And then engaged. Oops.
Newly engaged. It feels like soft,
Yeah.
the keyword.
Newly engaged 6 months.
Newly engaged 1 year. Are we doing that one?
I usually don't.
Okay.
It maybe if you want to expand the audience more, 76,000, an estimated, it's from 76,000 to almost 100,000 newly engaged couples. Like, that's why I always tell people, there's not a scarcity of newly engaged couples. There's a scarcity of photographers who know how to get in front of them. And pretty much the philosophy we often do is we like to use lead magnets. Because lead magnets, oftentimes when people run ads, they'll run an ad for their core offer, which is weddings. That can work, but your cost per acquisition will be a lot. Because they're like, okay, I see this photographer, I don't know who they are.
Right.
Like, there's no trust there.
They're hesitant to give you a lot of money.
Exactly. Yeah. But if you run an ad for maybe like a really awesome posing guide for free, or maybe it is actual full priced, or maybe a flash sale of like engagement sessions. Now, especially if it's engagement sessions, because the more engagements, the engagement session, whether if it's a contest, whether if it's full price, is the fastest way to turn a newly engaged couple into a raving fan.
And then that's
by far.
For our first year in business, when we did the WLMA, we were doing like 8 sessions a month.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
how we broke six figures. Yeah,
that's how people hit 6 figures in 6 to 12 months. Is because you're having a ton of these people work with you. Let's say if you did 10 engagement sessions a month, and you have a competitor who's doing only 2, and let's say everything for argument's sake, everything is the same, like brand, all that stuff.
Right.
You're gonna win.
Right.
You're 100% gonna
volume
win.
that you're
exactly.
Doing. Right.
And so that's why we often, brand and framing is important, because we've had people do a complimentary engagement session before where they booked a $9,500 wedding. So that shows that sometimes a lead magnet, even if it is a complimentary engagement session, if the brand is attracting those high-end clients,
it looks like we're doing them a favor.
Yeah, despite what a lot of photographers think, you can book high-end, very high-end. Sometimes if you want to expand the audience, you can target like people doing buying behaviors of like buying stuff for their wedding.
Oh, okay.
But let's go to next. And here we're not going to worry about adding the creative, but if it's an ad for Instagram,
okay,
I often recommend following what people actually like to view on Instagram. So maybe if that is a reel style video, if that is a carousel style video, text in that carousel type of a thing.
Okay.
Using the same principles we teach in the WLMA when it comes to copy and these offers, headline that's going to get.
Okay.
But so let's just say
I have my ad copy here.
Yeah, and then you can make a carousel pretty much with saying pretty much the same thing.
Could I
Or
also
a reel doing that.
do the for example, like the photo of me and Ashley? Since it did well on Instagram, people might seem to like that. What if that was the start, and then maybe I put like maybe through Photoshop or something like $97 fall minis. Swipe to get more info.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. 100%.
And then I have a reel of me talking, basically saying this ad copy.
Yeah. So it's like $97 fall minis for engaged couples in Orlando. You want to call out where they are, like, or Florida, if you want to expand a little bit further with your team. And so, especially when it comes to copy, you want to expand like the what, who exactly it is, location of who it is. Because when I see an ad that says like Chattanooga, like I'm automatically like, oh, what's happening here in Chattanooga?
Orlando engaged couples, $97 fall mini swipe.
Exactly.
Swipe for more info.
Or let's say if there was a swipe and they swiped and it was even like a real, like, you know, if you're an engaged couple in Orlando, blah, 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 kind of hitting these same points.
We're looking for ambitious, caring, and deeply in love couples who want their genuine whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're Manny and Ashley. We're offering 3 couples a chance to win, or not even 3 couples. We're offering $97 fall minis for a limited time.
Yeah. Okay. Or just because I know people ask this, like it could even be for a full priced engagement session. You will get less leads. And this is why even with the less expensive, the free lead magnets, we get a ton of leads in our funnel that we can nurture them, get them to inquire down the road. Okay. But let's say you're in a place where things are going great. Maybe you're already at 6 figures. You want to actually do like these paid engagement sessions. It's like a full price engagement session, show some scarcity and urgency of spots that are there. Okay. And let's say you have a little bit of copy. Maybe your carousel says most of the copy. Right. So in here, they just have to type in, they just have to say, DM me the word, I didn't mean to cap everything, but engaged. For fall mini info or for all the details, something like that.
Okay, so that's where the primary text will live. And so with social media style stuff, a lot of the copy that would normally live in this portion, the primary text, will live in the actual creative itself.
Yes. Okay. With carousels, it's going to be in the actual
You have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. And so you could do the same thing, but sometimes they're already watching the creative. So it's like, sometimes I just like to put the call to action in really short form. How do I get back here?
4 fingers.
4 fingers. Yeah. So let's say we just want them to DM you the word engaged for details. Send Instagram message. Then you can go over here and edit. So now this text is important here. Okay. Because even if they don't DM you the word engaged, if they click on the button, this is the message that's going to send to them. So you could say, this, oops, I didn't get its caps there. Yeah. This is, you could say something like, I may refine this, but I'm just throwing this out there really quick. Sure. This is only for engaged couples. What do I say? This is only for engaged couples. 15 spots left. Message me the word engaged for details. Okay. So that way, if they don't send the message, but they just click on the button, this is going to send, and then we can have. I'll usually just have one question. Okay. Pretty much, I'll make it my first response. So how do I zoom out here to I want to show the scripts. So pretty much, these are 3 different scripts. If you're watching this on the video, screenshot these scripts. These are scripts I like to do when I do DM messaging ads. I have one for if they're messaging you for your core offer, like actually inquiring for weddings. And you can change up these words. It doesn't have to be wedding, whatever works. So if they inquire for weddings, you can have this back and forth, the dialogue here. If you ever get to a point where you have a lot of messages coming in, you might be able to hire an appointment setter like me who handles all of my DMs. Okay. But if it's a slow scale, you do this yourself. You can set up templates where it's a push of a button on Instagram.
Okay.
Which makes it super fast. Let's say the lead magnet is some sort of guide, maybe a wedding planning guide, posing guide, maybe a free course. Maybe you made a posing free course and they say pose or something to get access to this posing course, kind of what that back and forth script can look like.
Right.
And so what we're doing is we're giving them what they want. We're giving them the link to, say, that posing course. And then we're seeing if they're low-hanging fruit.
This is very similar to what we do when we get a free engagement session. Like, hi, thanks for entering our free engagement session. And then we'll say, like, hey, is this Kyle and Cindy? Yes, that's us. We just got your submission. We're really excited. Yeah, and then we go back and forth.
Exactly.
And it kind of determines, like, yeah, we're super excited as well. Curious, have you got, like, we keep going further into the script.
Yeah, if they're low-hanging fruit, like, take advantage of it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so pretty much after we give them whatever the lead magnet is, then if they're low-hanging fruit, we may be able to book a consultation right then and there. Okay. If not, they're in our funnel now. If it's the model call contest, let's say they say engaged, I usually will get their email so they don't miss the announcement, and I'll actually manually add them into the CRM. Okay. So now they're in our email funnel, right. And you can do that with these types of things too.
You can nurture them.
But especially since they're entering a contest, you can do that especially for these type of lead magnets where I'll be like, cool if I get your email first so you don't miss the announcement, or cool if I get your email so I can send you the posing guide or posing course. So that way you may be able to make it so when you add them into your CRM, then they get the course, or then they get announcement for the model call.
Oh yeah. Can I get your email so we can make sure that you're
updated?
Get
XYZ.
Yeah, that you're updated if you won the free engagement session.
Exactly. So an incentive for that, and then right after they submit for the model call contest, we see if they're low hanging fruit.
So this $97 fall mini would be considered more of a lead magnet, less of a model call.
Yes.
It's all a lead magnet.
It is all lead magnet. Yeah, pretty much. Because I want people to understand, like, the whole purpose of lead magnets and the whole purpose of the model call contest. And the model call contest is just something that's the easiest one to get a lot of leads and nurture a lot of leads for photographers. And people always think, like, is there something else besides this? Like, yes, it's taught in the course.
You could do $200 engagement sessions.
It could, 100%.
$300 off your next engagement session.
But then be realistic. You will most likely, and messaging and offer is really important, but be realistic. If it's a paid engagement session, which is still a lead magnet, you're going to get less leads, pretty much. Let's go back to the ad. So screenshot that, guys, rewind if you didn't get that. And pretty much I would put this automated response as that first message. And I usually do everything else manually, whether if it's me or an appointment setter. And you can save that template. So pretty much as soon as they enter that message, they're sent that first response.
So, yeah, okay.
And you can get cool programs like ManyChat if you want to play around with more responses.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to talk about as well. So that's literally how you do it.
So it's just a matter of coming up with the creative. So it's okay that I use this photo and I can put like a caption on top.
100%. Yeah, you can put a headline for, let's say if you wanted to run a retargeting ad for your core offer, it could be something like, 5 spots left this year. See if your wedding date's available with Islington Films. Or it could be something like $300 engagement sessions, only 20 spots the next 90 days. Or it could be win a free engagement session if you want to do the model call, or $97 fall minis. Or you can maybe, if you made like a posing course, you can literally just be like free posing course for newly engaged couples.
Okay.
So I'm being repetitive just so other people watching this can be like, okay, like lead magnets make sense now. Like this is why we want to use lead magnets, because we want to get more attention at more volume, get more trust than our competitors.
Gotcha.
Now, this is something that I think is so cool. Like, and I do this all the time. Your Instagram now is pretty much a Facebook pixel, where you can literally create an audience or anyone who swiped through a carousel, like the post, who's been on your profile, you can create an audience of those. So you can literally retarget those. So let's say you made a carousel ad for fall minis that's obviously targeted to newly engaged couples, you can target anyone who has swiped through your content the past 30 days to 180 days and run ads to those people.
Okay.
Like, it is so powerful.
It's like free. It's like a free advertising. Like you don't even need to pay for retargeting ads. Like they're doing it themselves.
Yeah. Oh, you will have to pay for them. So let me show you this. So let's say you created an ad for newly engaged couples, and literally the ad was like, you want to get the most value from your wedding day, like this post and follow us and message us, the word engaged, and so you can learn all XYZ, all these different things.
Learn all about the section.
And so now, people are following you, people are maybe messaging you, and then you also know that people are maybe swiping through a carousel, etc. So I'm going to back out of here. So I'm going over here on the left, and I'm clicking on audiences. And pretty much, I can go over here, and I'll click on create audience. This is the right account, right?
Yep.
Create an audience. I'm going to create a custom audience. And then you can go over here on MetaSource and go on Instagram account. Like, this is absolutely insane. I'm going to click on Instagram account. And this is how you create true omnipresence. So let's say I'm just going to read some of these so people really get this. You can go over here. Now you can go and make a custom audience of everyone who started following this professional account. So let's say you actually ran an ad just to get a bunch of newly engaged couples to follow your Instagram. You can make an audience of that. It can of just everyone who's following you. Let's say maybe you don't have enough newly engaged couples following you yet, but you made an ad, everyone who engaged with this professional account. So that says everyone who visited this profile or took action on this post or ad, such as likes, comments, saves, carousel swipes, button taps, or shares.
Right.
So let's say you literally made an ad targeted to newly engaged couples where you're just getting them to engage because it's super valuable. You can create an audience of anyone who engaged with your content within the next 30 to 180 days. Anyone who visited your profile. So let's say you made an ad where you're like, if you want to learn a ton of posing tips for your wedding day, check out our profile.
Okay.
Now they're on our pixel, and we can create an audience from everyone who has been on that profile and retarget them with ads for super, super cheap. Let's see what else we got. Anyone who's engaged with any post, which is pretty cool. I think you can do one with specific posts as well. So let's say, I saw something like that like a couple months ago, then I saw this, so they may have changed it, but you may be able to do one for if it's a specific post. Okay. So let's say there's a specific post where there's a lot of engaged people, and it's not a lot of other people, but it's only engaged people hitting up this ad or post. You can do that. This is for any post on your profile. Anyone who sent you a message. So let's say you made an ad that said, if you want to win this engagement session, message me the word engaged. Now you can retarget anyone who's ever messaged you.
Okay.
And then finally, anyone who saved any post. So I want
it just depends on what you want.
Yeah. And I'm trying to get people out of the mindset of like, this is the one thing we can do. Like, no, you are the entrepreneur.
Right.
You are the strategist in your business. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can test a million different things. Like I would probably do everyone who engaged with this professional account. So like anyone who's, like I said, I feel like that covers a broad thing, such as the 100%. Likes, the comments, if they saved it, if they swiped it.
Imagine now, for 3 months, you ran ads where that they're engaging. Newly engaged couples were engaging with your Instagram account the past 90 days. So let's play around with this. Everyone who engaged with this professional account. Retention, maybe they changed it. It used to just be 180. But let's say you don't want 2 non-engaged people seeing it, but for a fact the past 90 days, a lot of engaged people were here. Then you could call this engaged with Instagram account 90. And then you could create that. And literally, this is how I've created omnipresence in my business. I've pretty much made a custom audience for almost every single one of those things.
Okay.
So it's like people can't escape.
Right.
That's true omnipresence. It's like
I've been getting the ads.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like if you click on my ad, if you view my profile, if you message me, like
you're gonna see my face every time you go on.
You're gonna know who I am.
Right.
Type of a thing. And you can do that for any industry.
So then
It's powerful.
This custom audience that I'm making, when I create it, I would go back to the creative. Let's just say I did another ad another time, and I would use that audience.
Exactly.
But that happens after I've already ran the initial.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So pretty much like a little strategy that I would even like play around with and do. Let's say you're like a master at posing. And your Instagram account is full of posing tips for newly engaged couples. You could run a cold traffic ad to all the newly engaged couples in your area. And you could literally just be like, free, pretty much advertising free content. If you want to make sure you look your absolute best on your wedding day, ton of free posing content for you. Just follow me on Instagram, no strings attached.
Okay.
And now you're getting a bunch of newly engaged couples who are either viewing or following you on Instagram. So now your following is actually growing.
Okay.
And then you can make another ad of anyone who has visited this profile within a certain amount of days. That amount of days depends on you. And then you can run an ad to actually book you as a photographer, because now they're warm. They've been following you.
Right.
They're warm leads. You could run ads to actually book you as a photographer. Or let's say if you still feel like these leads are still cold, you could run a lead magnet ad for a mini offer to get people in maybe your email list.
And this is all through just Instagram.
Exactly. Yeah. This is all through just Instagram. Instagram is literally a Facebook pixel.
Okay.
And like, for me as an advertiser, like I get so excited about this because this is unlimited possibilities, and especially because photographers, Instagram is such a powerful platform.
But now you're utilizing that so that it's tracking the people that are engaging or looking through your stories or looking through that post.
Exactly. It's like, so I'm excited about this. I hope you guys are excited about this. And like, I want you guys to think about the possibilities of what you could do to market your wedding photography or filmmaking business.
Typically how I was picturing the funnel was through the email series. That's how we're nurturing them.
Because typically, let me zoom up here. This is our standard WLMA funnel where we have an ad that has, a lead magnet that goes to a landing page. From that landing page, they're signing up for whatever our lead magnet is. Now they're in our email series. Usually from there, we lead them to your Instagram or Facebook group,
with the soft call to actions.
Yeah, with different call to actions that are in there, and we're cross pollinating the leads, and through all of that, we lead them to the consultation, to the booking,
and then booking. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah,
yeah, and then we'll retarget there. That's all our students know what this is here. The Instagram funnel, same concept, same principles. Don't get too confused, but it looks a little bit more like this, where ignore this. Instead of boosting a post, you actually want to run these on the back end of Facebook. You can boost a post, but we'll have better targeting on the back end of Facebook.
What we were just discussing earlier.
Exactly.
Like
what I showed earlier.
Going through Facebook, linking the Instagram account.
Targeting newly engaged couples
kind
with
of this
that content.
Yeah, kind of similarly to how we were doing it to the Facebook ads.
Yeah, because with a boosted post, you may not be able to target newly engaged couples. Don't worry about Instagram shout outs. That's something I've done, but unless you can find a local account with a lot of newly engaged couples. So just worry about actually running these ads on the back end of Facebook.
Got it.
Leading them to Instagram.
Okay.
So now Instagram is the core of our funnel, using the concepts and types of content that we were just talking about. Through that Instagram, now pretty much can cross-pollinate them to email. So sometimes call to actions to hit up this lead magnet, whatever it is, on our bio.
Okay.
Or if you message for this free posing guide, we get their email to get that free posing guide, and we're getting them there. And then we're also leading them to like websites and blogs from Instagram.
Okay.
But the goal is to get inquiries via DMs. Say, message me the word wedding if you're engaged. Message me the word fall if you want to reserve one of these fall minis. And then we use these scripts that I showed earlier. So
Yes.
screenshot that if you didn't before. And then we turn that into a booked wedding.
Okay.
And then through that whole retargeting aspect that I just showed before, we can retarget these people, whether if they viewed your profile, engaged with your content, whatever of those things that you decide to do, we can get them to your website, or we can get them to send you a DM, get them to a consultation and book. So, for example, some pros and cons. The pros, I think of like, the pros of this standard WLMA funnel, we can get more people in our email series.
Yes.
But the cons are, it's a little bit more difficult to build trust. We own the audience faster. It can be a little bit more difficult to build trust. The pros with the Instagram funnel, because we're getting them straight to our Instagram, we can build trust faster. We have some awesome retargeting tools that we just talked about.
Right.
The only con is it's going to be more difficult to build our email list, which is one thing we
Right.
want to make sure that we're doing.
But most people are like, when they follow you, they're essentially subscribing to you. It's kind of like, it works like YouTube.
Essentially,
You're
exactly.
subscribing to get that content, and it's in that content that you can have information that will nurture them to lead them eventually to the consultation.
Think of your Instagram pretty much as emails. We don't own the audience as much because we're controlled a little bit more by an algorithm. And there's a lot more trust when you have those back and forth in the DMs. It's those count as touch points. As you can see, I'm not sending the normal email script.
Right.
I'm not sending that normal email script, but I want these touch points. This back and forth is huge. And then when they message us, just like I showed, like we can retarget them through everyone who messaged us maybe the past 90 days.
Okay.
Whatever we want to do. Like, yeah, any questions like as far as like those two things?
No, that makes a lot of sense. I think I like the DM idea because it's almost like more tactile. Like people communicate through there.
Exactly.
They communicate through social
DMs
media.
are the new texting.
Yeah,
you know?
like liking a photo, like those types of things. Seeing people's like BTS, like those are all things that can live on Instagram that build that trust.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so what's huge with Instagram? This is the CEO of Instagram literally saying this when they're checking out the metrics as far as growth. DMs was the highest, stories next, your profile maybe third or fourth. So if you're not, I see this all the time with photographers.
You
where they
grow
say,
through stories, you grow through the DMs.
yeah, it's like utilize it, because I see this all the time with photographers where they're pretty much will say something in their bio, no DMs, just email me. You're missing out on a huge opportunity if you do that.
Yeah.
And so utilize the DMs, encourage people to DM you like as much as possible.
Right, and it's in the DMs where you start to nurture them further to get them into the consultation, into the booking.
Is it more work? Sure. Is it worth the work to get that higher conversions? Absolutely.
But it's another tool in the arsenal in order for you to be able to. It's just another way for you to get more leads nurtured into your funnel. That's
Exactly.
That's it. So you can stick with the standard WLMA funnel, which works. But when you utilize Instagram, you're now just building more weapons.
Exactly. I recommend doing both. And some people may find that with certain lead magnets they use when they run ads, this Instagram funnel is incredibly powerful. Same concepts. Like we're not changing anything except what the core is, and that's Instagram.
This layout with the pink and like the colors like that helps me visualize it.
Exactly.
It doesn't look as confusing.
100%.
Okay.
So this is pretty much what was, when you think about why the DMs are so important, the Instagram's CEO was literally saying this. It's not that you're not seeing your friends post like what people think. Your friends just aren't posting on the gallery as much, which is why if you are posting consistently, you'll get people following you to see your stuff.
Sure.
So especially if you're using this Instagram funnel, consistent posts is key. But how do people share nowadays? People share in the DMs and in stories.
Yeah.
Pretty much like all the stuff I share with my friends, I'm DMing them stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Or I'm posting it on my stories. So people are always looking at their DMs.
And even on the stories, you have different forms of engagement. People can like it now. People can send emojis.
Exactly.
And that's another way that you understand that people are liking this content.
Look at broadcast channels. That was Instagram saying, oh, people are paying attention to the DMs. How can we get more? How can people more utilize the DMs? And that was what they did with broadcast channels, because people are automatically going to open up and view it.
Right.
And so, yeah, definitely 100% test out this Instagram funnel.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but like less barrier to entry in Instagram, because
Exactly.
people people go on Instagram every day.
It's when you send a message via DMs, it does. You don't feel like you're in a funnel, and you're messaging.
You don't feel like you're getting an email, like another email.
People feel like when you're on the landing page, you know that you're in like a marketing funnel.
Yes,
and which is why it still works.
When you get an email, you know you're like, I'm subscribed to this email.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why like getting people to even give their email, like you have to have a really awesome incentive.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Instagram, like, send me a message if you want to enter this contest. Sure.
It makes them feel like I'm choosing to do this.
Exactly.
I followed him. This
And
is
it's organic. It's an invisible funnel, as you could see. Pretty much, it's what I like to call the invisible funnel.
That makes sense.
So they're in a funnel, but they don't realize it. And so sometimes, instead of, if you want to create content, maybe you're getting them on Instagram. Maybe instead of them, you know, if you want to get them into more long form content, utilize YouTube, because often what some of my favorite entrepreneurs say, short form gets the attention, long form sells your brand, pretty much.
So you're just building a web of ways to nurture this person, but the main goal is consultations and bookings.
Exactly. You can create, you know, I sometimes don't want to overcomplicate it so people don't feel confused, but just look at this, and then as you get confident with it, you can add more things to that web.
Gotcha.
Don't just think about some of the things we've talked about as far as like, oh, you only can do this type of ad. No, like, you're the entrepreneur, you're the marketer. Get creative with the problems and desires that your newly engaged couples actually want. Experiment with different types of ads. If you're unsure, first try it out organically. If it did well, it will likely do well as an ad also.
Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, was that helpful?
That was helpful.
Like, it excites me, and I just...
Yeah. That's super helpful. Cool.
Awesome.
I'll jump on this.
Yeah. I mean, let me know if I have any questions with this. If anyone's watching this, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll help out.